2018 BMW X5 4x4 review. The good points of BMW X5 4x4. Imposing styling. Quality interior. Loaded with technology. Plug-in hybrid version. The bad points of BMW X5 4x4. Expensive to get and run. Doesn't feel as special as some rivals. This would be the third generation on the popular BMW X5 SUV. The Munich marks challenger to premium badged, sporty off-roaders like the Audi Q7, Mercedes-Benz GLE and Range Rover Sport. Watch, 2018 BMW X5 revealed. BMW X5 cars on the market. If you desire something the size in the X5 but greater exclusivity, and fewer space, then there's always the BMW X6, an SUV coupe through an exaggeratedly tapered tail. The X5's gargantuan dimensions suggest eye-wateringly expensive running costs, although versions, for example the high-performance X5M, remain thirsty. The check is redressed by more frugal rear-wheel drive xDrive diesels and plug-in petrol-electric hybrids. Practical, if expensive, family SUV. While the X5 retains the chunky silhouette of before, this generation model lacks some on the visual clout which marked out its predecessors. If you need more aggression, then specify yours with all the desirable M Sport package. Inside, the attention is on luxury using a choice of ambience packages as well as the option of comfort or sports seats, along with comfort and entertainment choices for rear seat passengers. Access on the optional third row of seats is a lot easier, too. Convenience features, for instance an electric tailgate, increase the risk for X5 all too easy to live with, while a 40 hours 20 minutes 40 seconds split for the middle row of seats increase its flexibility further. 7. Engine options. As per modern BMW conventions, the engine sizes hinted at from the badging are simply adjusted within the majority of cases, at touch. Whether you decide on petrol, diesel or petrol-electric plug-in hybrid, all in the motors are turbocharged to further improve both power and efficiency. Diesels remain the most used choices for the X5. Both the spine-wheel drive xDrive 25D and four-wheel drive xDrive 25D use a 2.0-litre engine producing 231 horsepower, even though the xDrive 30D, xDrive 40D and M50D all pack 3.0-litre motors mustering 258 horsepower, 313 horsepower and 381 horsepower respectively. If you desire a petrol engine, you then have a restricted number of 2 of 4.4-litre V8s. The first powers the xDrive 50i with 449 horsepower, meaning 062 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds. High-performance X5M. At the actual top in the tree could be the X5M, producing 575 horsepower and able to scorching from 062 miles per hour in a mere 4.2 seconds. This sort of performance eclipses Audi's monstrous SQ7 as well as the Range Rover Sport SVR, but doesn't quite match the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S, which can be 0.1 seconds quicker in the benchmark sprint. As you could possibly expect, the X5M also advantages of an impressive assortment of standard kit. Plug-in hybrid xDrive 40. Lowest emissions within the range are delivered courtesy on the xDrive 40e plug-in hybrid, which has a 2.0-litre engine getting work done in conjunction with its electric propulsion. Choose the version with smaller alloy wheels and CO2 output is quoted at merely 77 GkM, through an electric-only selection of up to 19 miles. The clever trick is that the plug-in X5 still boasts relatively impressive performance figures, cover 062 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds. Technology aids simplicity. Under your skin, BMW has included a raft of clever gizmos, including suspension firmness that may be personalized towards the driver's taste for the touch of the mouse button, and parking assistant, which seeks out suitable parking spots then parks the automobile for you by controlling not merely the steering, however the accelerator and brake too. There's also a great, but optional, head-up display HUD, while concierge services means that you can access a trip center for information and sat-nav route downloads. Diesel models remain the most used. Powerful M50D and X5M for speed addicts. Plug-in hybrid xDrive 14 odd less than power. No matter which model you decide on, the BMW X5's performance is impressive and in keeping with all the marque's ethos. All versions will crack the 062 mph acceleration test in just 10 seconds. Regardless of whether you decide on petrol, diesel or petrol-electric plug-in hybrid, all come with the excellent 8-speed automatic gearbox, which swaps cogs quickly and smoothly. Diesel engines most in demand. Although you'll find 5 different diesel variants, these are powered just by 2 basic engines, albeit in various power outputs. Common to the xDrive 25D and xDrive 25D could be the turbocharged 2.0-litre, 4-cylinder diesel producing 231 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque from 2,000 revolutions per minute. Regardless of whether exactly the rear wheels are forced S-drive or all 4 xDrive, performance figures are indifferent. A 137 mph top speed plus 062 mph period of 7.7 seconds, understanding that's with the slowest accelerating model inside the lineup. First in the X5S together with the 6-cylinder 3.0-litre turbo unit could be the xDrive 30D. There's a rather modest boost in power to 258 horsepower, with 560 Nm of torque available even lower down the rev range at 1,500 revolutions per minute, making it easier to accelerate. That brings the 062 mph time as a result of 6.8 seconds, while top speed is 143 mph. In our opinion, the xDrive 30D represents the very best combination of performance and running costs. Its power delivery is smooth and there's lots of torque offered. That makes the driving feel effortless. It works well in conjunction with all the 8-speed automatic gearbox, providing near relentless shove. While it doesn't sound anywhere close to as nice as some from the punchier engines within the range, it can be noticeably preferable to drive compared to the 4-cylinder motors stated previously. Tweaked to make a meatier 313 horsepower and 630 Nm, again from 1,500 revolutions per minute, would be the 3.0-litre xDrive 40D. That extra grunt makes a 147 mph top speed along with a 5.9-second 062 mph time, topping the diesel lineup, but still using exactly the same 3.0-litre engine. Now ramped as much as 381 horsepower and 740 Nm of torque from 2,000 revolutions per minute, would be the M50D. Fettled by BMW's M division, viable for iconic performance saloons including the M3 and M5, the X5 M50D's top speed is bound to 155 mph. Whilst it takes just 5.3 seconds to finish the 062 mph benchmark. Performance-focused patrols. Just 2 petrol-only X5s are available inside UK, both fitted that is a turbocharged 4.4-litre V8 by having an enticing burble to its exhaust note. Unsurprisingly, they're the priciest models to perform. First up could be the xDrive 50i. Producing 449 horsepower plus a diesel-esque 650 Nm from 2,000 revolutions per minute. Top speed is, per BMW conventions, capped at 155 mph. However, the 4.9-second 062 mph outstrips all on a diesel X5S. For some, that's too little, hence the tuned and driver-focused X5M's existence. Forget the M50D briefly, this could be the bona fide EM car inside range. The petrol V8's been cranked around produce 575 horsepower, which has a colossal 750 Nm of torque on stream from 2,200 revolutions per minute. Top speed is again tied to 155 mph. Nevertheless, the 062 mph drops further with a scarcely believable 4.2 seconds, automobile that weighs 2,350 kilograms. Low-emission plug-in hybrid. If you don't cover the type of mileage to warrant a diesel yet still want a cheap choice, then this plug-in hybrid xDrive 40 may suit you. The conventional engine is really a 4-cylinder 2.0-litre turbo petrol, which, combined through an electric motor, produces 245 horsepower and 450 Newton-meters of torque, with approximately 19 miles of electric and lead driving range available. Top speed is 130 miles per hour, or 75 miles per hour in F mode, which has 0.62 miles per hour duration of 6.8 seconds, so although it's more green, it's no slouch. Handles well to get a large SUV, but less good as conventional BMWs. Adaptive suspension worth ordering. Even when you're behind the wheel from the M50D or X5M, using the optional adaptive dynamic suspension system, you quickly realize that there's no race car in terms of their handling. Then again, it lets you do weigh around 2.2 tons, and gifted though BMW engineers are, they are unable to defy physics. Inevitably in the event you drive that it is hard the weight is needed, and with all the heavy engine in the beginning, the nose may ultimately wash wide. There's plenty of traction across both axles around that point though, plus you've got to be driving rapidly indeed to upset the X5 in anything though the slipperiest of conditions. For one of the most impressive handling you'll wish to order the optional professional adaptive suspension, which features active anti-roll technology which allows it to keep flatter through corners as opposed to tilting just like a conventional taller car. Thanks with a predominantly rear-driven setup on the all-wheel drive system, the X5 is impressively capable during most situations you're gonna encounter traveling. In RC the suspension is the most suitable left in comfort mode, the place that the ride is slightly suppler, and there's a negligible volume of extra body roll. The steering weight feels holistic too. Torque vectoring for the rear, where power is split through the driven wheels to boost traction, causes it to become more stable in top speed corners too. Considering most X5s will probably be carrying children, taking life at the slightly slower pace might be a better idea anyway. We found the X5 a somewhat easy car to park considering its size. The Audi Q7's optional rear-wheel steering system does have a slight edge here, nevertheless the BMW's turning circle is sufficiently small to achieve most maneuvers without worry. The excellent bird's-eye view reversing camera is often a worthwhile investment if this can be a consideration. It displays a graphic of everything surrounding your vehicle and makes parking miles easier. It proves capable enough off-road, despite large alloy wheels and road-orientated tires. There's the normal hill descent control plus the X5 can apportion nearly 100% of its capacity to a single wheel. The most impressive aspect is simply how fuss-free and quiet the four-wheel drive xDrive strategy is. Familiar BMW feel on the X5's cabin. High-quality materials as well as a good finish. xDrive remains an intuitive multimedia system. It's fair to convey that should you've sat driving of a contemporary BMW saloon, not to say the previous generation X5, then this cabin will feel instantly familiar for your requirements. Don't take that to be a bad thing, though, mainly because it means layout, design is intuitive and clear, with all on the controls just where you'd expect them. Of course, xDrive still features, which enables it to control as part of your before. There's the touch-sensitive pad at the top, helping you to trace letters and numbers with just your fingertips for destination input, while Connected Drive now includes professional sat-nav, real-time traffic information and BMW online services. Even when you struggle with xDrive to begin with, only for a few hours when driving it'll likely click and become by far the most intuitive system that you've ever used. Each X5 gets BMW's professional navigation arrangement as standard, which features real-time traffic updates, emergency services dialing and on the internet connectivity as standard. It works incredibly quickly and feels of in high quality. It's our favored systems. The multimedia screen sits on top from the dash, being a tablet or flat-screen TV, The principal dashboard molding is actually stepped into different layers and LED ambient lighting hides below the superior level. It's also possible to change the light's intensity or color. Quality is without a doubt. The surface is an example, as we've driven are almost completely swathed in leather and high-gloss plastics. The instrument dials follow suit, using models from the BMW range that has a multi-configurable electronic display below the speedometer and rev counter, that is also utilized to show when the vehicle is in Eco-Pro mode. Thanks to part electric adjustment with the front seats, and a lot of movement from the steering wheel position, getting a comfortable driving position is often a matter of moments. Very comfortable during standard trim. Upgraded comfort seats definitely worth the extra. Go to the adaptive suspension upgrade, too. You don't ought to spend long in the driver's seat to realize that comfort is one on the BMW X5's highlights. There's lots of space, the driver's seat has lots of adjustment, plus the seats are trimmed in leather as standard, with fans from the optional comfort front seats, that provide electric adjustment for pretty much everything, including headrest height, and thigh support, as well as how tightly the inside bolsters grip you. The ability to tilt the top of the half on the backrest independently on the lower section means you do not find your desired seating position, and despite their price we could only recommend them. Thankfully it's not precisely the seats that have the X5 this type of comfortable companion. There's hardly any wind noise, and it's clear that sound insulation has arrived under close scrutiny. You'll find it hard to hear more than the usual muted engine note on the road. There is some tire roar at high speed, but that's because of their width. The standard 18-inch alloys on same models will probably yield a far more forgiving ride, despite making do with steel springs and the conventional dampers as standard. Adaptive comfort and adaptive dynamic suspension are optional. Firmer adaptive M suspension is equipped as standard to your M50D, X5M and M Sport models except the xDrive 25D. At the top with the suspension chart will be the professional adaptive suspension package, which combines the variable damping control and self-leveling rear suspension with the comfort suspension to your active roll stabilization and dynamic performance control in the adaptive dynamic build. For those employing their X5 to be a children carrier, we'd suggest the enormous panoramic glass sunroof is usually a good move too, helping stop children being carsick. 4 trim levels from which to choose. M Sport is considered probably the most desirable. Colossal variety of expensive options. Theoretically, the X5 lineup is not difficult, it comes down to say, moves approximately M Sport, followed with the standalone M50D and X5M on the summit. In reality, it's more complex than that, since the equipment is also based upon which model continues to be chosen. Standard BMW X5 SUV equipment. Start off while using X5 in say trim paired with all the xDrive 25D, xDrive 25D or xDrive 30D engines, and you'll use a generous equipment roster. Among the kit list are 19-inch spoke alloy wheels, illuminated exterior door handles, chrome-tipped exhaust pipes, electrically folding door mirrors, black grille vanes, xenon headlamps, LED front fog lights, metallic paint, automatic lights and wipers, full leather upholstery, electrically adjustable and heated front seats, multicolored ambient lighting, brushed aluminium interior trim, professional multimedia system with iDrive, DAB radio and Bluetooth connectivity. Stick with say trim but go to the more powerful xDrive 40D, and besides greater performance, any additional outlay buys you titanium colored grille vanes. Choose the xDrive 50i say, understanding that further adds high gloss poplar wood interior trim. Plump to the plug-in hybrid xDrive 40 say, and this adds to your 40D's tally with adaptive comfort suspension, hybrid specific instrumentation and controls, blue detailing including to your grille vanes, a 5 meters charging cable plus an illuminated charging socket about the near side front wing. Things are simpler with M Sport X5s since they all feature the identical upgrades. They're distinguished by 20-inch M double spoke alloys, Adaptive M suspension. M designation door sill finishes not xDrive 40. High gloss shadowline exterior trims. M Sport specific body kit. Black headlining. Aluminium hexagon trim xDrive 50i retains the poplar wood. Sports front seats. M specific tyre. There are further sporty touches for your X5 M50D. Different style of 20-inch alloys. Black finishes for your exhaust pipes. Ferric grey door mirror caps. Chrome grille vanes. Abraded steering. Pick the X5 M&As. And all the more aggressive body kit. A third variety of 20-inch alloy wheel. Double grille vanes in high gloss black. Adaptive dynamic suspension. Adaptive LED headlamps. Chrome-tipped quad exhausts. Extended merino leather, since the dashboard and door panels. Head-up display. Wi-Fi hotspot. Aluminium coupled with pearl grey interior trims. Optional BMW X5 SUV accessories. There's numerous packages available with the X5, with way too many to catalogue here. Comfort seats may be specified front and back. A huge range of interior trims, materials and kit is available, and Harman Kardon will offer an advanced head unit. For those more concerned while using driving experience, a sports automatic transmission could be mated with all the different suspension options, while safety might be enhanced together with the adaptive LED headlights, night vision and also a surround view camera. If you've got children and therefore are likely to ferry around them as well as their friends frequently, then think about the panoramic glass roof and 7-seater back, too. If you've bought an M Sport, there's also the M Sport Plus package to take into account, comprising of head-up display, a Harman Kardon speaker upgrade, an adaptive instrument panel and sun protection glass. Not yet rated by Euro NCAP. Host of ordinary and optional safety kit. Security of xDrive on just about all X5s. With the previous generation BMW X5 safety record of 5 Euro NCAP stars, we'd expect this model to suit this rating, and much better it when it comes to individual achievements. When the organization decides to crash test that may be. Ignore the host of airbags and impact-resistant structures, equipment that's commonplace throughout the whole car industry. If you learn, you'll realize the BMW X5 is packing a good amount of clever safety kit. The main focus is Driving Assistant Plus, which incorporates lane departure warning and keep you between a lane's white lines, forward collision warning and city collision mitigation to relieve the chance of rear-ending a slower moving or stationary car, and adaptive cruise control having a stop-start function. As standard, you'll find xenon lights to further improve the driver's vision within the dark, as the rain and lightweight sensors will turn the wipers and headlights on automatically when asked. Should the worst happen, within the event of any sort of accident, the BMW emergency call system will automatically alert the appropriate services for a location. For less serious incidents, the system may be manually operated by way of a button from the overhead console. Optionally, owners can specify adaptive LED headlights, night vision with animal and pedestrian recognition, the full-color head-up display HUD, glare-free automatic main beam that bends light around other road users as opposed to directly into their field of vision, and surround view cameras present you with a wider viewpoint round the vehicle than before. And while other park assist programs often have to have the driver to work the pedals, the X5 supplies a fully automated service which will park the auto for you with no occupant input into the pedals or tire. How many ISOFIX baby car seats can I integrate a BMW X5 SUV? You'll manage to install 2 ISOFIX child seats inside the X5, one on each with the outer rear seats. There's no choice to add one towards the front passenger seat or the additional set of chairs from the 7-seater version. Lots of space for 5 occupants. Pair more seats various. Boot space is generous and flexible. As standard, the BMW X5 is included with 5 seats, but practicality is usually boosted while using addition of a supplementary pair from the boot, turning it into a 7-seater. Access to your rearmost row is improved using the easy entry function that sees the guts seats tumble forward, As you move, the hand grip within the pillar allows occupants to drag themselves into the auto. It's a huge car, so it's no real surprise that occupants' space is for the generous side, both at the start and for those sitting behind a tall driver, and there's a good amount of head, shoulder and leg room available. There's also a good amount of storage with door bins of your decent size, a deep cubby under leading armrest, a set of cup holders for the base in the center console, and usefully sized glove box. With the seats constantly in place, the boot is understandably small, but if the seats are certainly not in use, they slide neatly in the floor and away from sight. Order your X5 without the additional pair of seats, and boot space is 650 litres using the middle row available, and 1,870 litres when folded. That's an expansion of 30 and 120 litres respectively within the previous generation car, and also the middle bench splits inside a 402,040 configuration for max flexibility. Anything different using the xDrive 40e plug-in hybrid? The plug-in hybrid X5 carries a smaller boot to create way for its batteries, together with the space available dropping by 150 litres no matter whether the rear seats are folded or up. By picking the plug-in in addition, you eschew the choice of that final row of seats. The BMW X5 xDrive 40 is 5-seat only.